Hello there, beautiful people. So, my name is Carol, the Tarot Reader, and today I'm going to be talking about what are chakras. So, right now I'm just trying to draw a human being to like the best of my artistic abilities at this moment. I'm doing it this way because I just didn't feel like being on camera, and then I'm camping out here with my family, my husband, and my two dogs. Um, I like taking off camping, especially when I feel like I need some R&R. And I suggest it to you guys too whenever you feel like you need some R&R, because that's a belly button. Because it's good for the soul, and sometimes connecting to nature just rebalances you out naturally. And I don't know why I decided to draw. Lord, this is gonna come out awful. uh, this is an alien. Okay, this is not an alien. This is a person. But anyway, okay, so let's go. So the chakra system. So basically, I'm just gonna talk to you about them in the way that I kind of learned them. So basically, um, they're just energy center points that are located throughout our body. You could actually find chakras everywhere throughout our body, technically. However, the ones that we're going to be talking about are the seven major ones. These are like the most common ones that you hear. This is, your crown, your third eye, your throat, your heart, your sacral, your solar plex, um, your sacral, your root. I almost forgot the last one. Anyway, I'm talking about those, the main ones. Like, what are they, and like, why should we even care? So they're energy points located on our body. But the thing is that depending on the location of where it's located, as into what it means, what its density, like its vibration, everything about it is completely different because of its direction. You're either going up to the heavens, or you're going down to the earthly planes of like matter and things that are denser, right? And so um because all energy is different, all frequency is different. The frequency to light is going to be completely different to the frequency of water or of a rock or something tangible. The frequency of air, sound is just different. And so the way that I learned this is like, it's basically chakras is a map. It's a map that's located on our human body, and it doesn't tell us where to go, but it could tell us how to get there if we have like a sense of direction, meaning of travel. So what do I mean by that? I mean, like, I'm gonna give you an example, an analogy. Let me give you a different drawing. I drew a human being there, but let me draw an airplane now. Can I draw an airplane? Let me see. Let me see. That's a fish. Lord, that's air. Windows. That's an airplane. Doesn't look like it. Looks like a fish. Anyway, so imagine if you were to travel, if you were to go to, like, let's say, to LAX all the way to New York, right? The vibe and the energy is completely different in LA than it is in New York, right? How you maneuver, how you talk, how everything. It's just a different vibe, different area. So in order for us to travel from LAX to New York, you're going to have to pack your stuff, get in a car, drive to LAX or whatever, get into an airplane, and then once you get into an airplane, it's going to ascend, right? And it's going to have to change, like, its cold compression thing. Everything in this compartment is going to have to change in order for it to travel to New York and fly there. And once it lands in New York, it's going to do its thing again, where it's going to change its compression, so it could go down to its denser area and land in New York. But even though it lands in New York, the vibe is just completely different. So the same thing here is with the chakra system. So each chakra just has a different vibe, and how you get to the next one has like a traveling component, because it has to go through some type of like energetic transformation in order for it to go to its next level, because it's either denser or it's lighter depending on which direction you're flowing. Now, in order to understand like why chakras are even important, you have to kind of understand what they even are. So I'm just going to talk about what they are. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the crown. The crown is located above your head. Now, don't mind my chicken scratch writing. It's just is what it is along with this drawing. And then we have the third eye, right? So the third eye. Now, the third eye. And then right here, we have the throat. And then we got the corazón, heart. We got the solar plex, which is like the sun. I'm going to go the solar plex. And then we got the sacral here, located where like your sex organs are. Sacral, this is like your creativity spot. And then you have your root. I don't know what I want to draw as a root. Let's draw a circle. Anyway, root. All right. So your crown. Let's go ahead and start with your crown. Now your crown, this normally represents and shows up in white. If you're using like a stone, you could use like light color stones like selenite, any kind of crisp, quartz, any kind of clear stone, even white and purple, amethyst, things of that nature work good on the crown. But let's talk about what the crown is. So the crown here, that has to do with like just your knowing, like things that you just know. And I'm gonna give you a prime example. Like, you ever have somebody tell you like, have an adult tell you like, hey, don't go down the street over there. You're like, why? I don't know, just don't. It's kind of weird. It feels, the vibe doesn't feel good. Don't go down that alley. It's like, why? It just doesn't feel good. Like, I don't need proof, I just know. And it's like, that's what they mean by just that knowing. Or when you meet somebody who just knows that they want to be a doctor, like they've known since they've been a kid, like, I just know I want to be a doctor. It's like, it's just a knowing within them. There's no explanation. You don't have to convince them of nothing. It's just a knowing. You just know. That's the crown. Now the third eye, that's your intuition, right? That's like, are you paying attention to like the red flags, behavior patterns? Then I'm gonna give you some examples of what that third eye is. So when people talk about intuition, sometimes people think that intuition is like this great vast thing that only like some people have. It's like, no, everyone has intuition. Like, what is that? Like, intuition is just basically um red flags and patterns that you're picking up on. For example, when I'm reading tarot, all I'm doing is picking up on uh habits and like patterns that I'm looking at, and that's going to tell me a lot about that individual and that person. Now, if you're not using cards, let's say for example, you see a 13-year-old kid who's just acting up, acting a fool. He's over here stealing, lying, cheating, doing drugs, breaking the law, who knows, skipping school. And the thing is that you don't have to know that individual, but you know that if that child continues on that path, that the likelihood of them ending up in a bad situation or in jail or messing around with the wrong person is high. And it's just like, did we really foretell the future? Is this just like, kind of, sort of, not really. What you picked up on was on pattern, and based on their pattern, the behavior, knowing what you know, that if they continue on that path, that's what the likelihood's going to be. That's your intuition. You're picking up on those red flags. Or when you're dating a person and your intuition tells you, you start picking up certain little things that they're doing that you recognize because your father used to do that, because your mother used to do that, and you're like, ooh, that's not a good thing, that's not a good sign. And you could either A, choose to ignore it, which means you chose to ignore your intuition and you went through the ride anyway and learned the hard way. Or B, you trusted your intuition and it's like, I am diverting from that path and I'm going a different direction now. So that's your third eye, basically. Now here with your throat, Your throat is basically oh, I didn't even talk about your colors for your third eye. Backtrack. Third eye. This would also be, I'm gonna be honest, the same colors that I would use for the crown, I use interchangeably between the third eye and the throat. So that means like any clear colors, purple, blue. I like sticking with that for the third eye. Now for the throat, I really prefer sticking with blues specifically. Um, with the third eye, I'll do purple, blue, clear. With the throat, I just basically stick with blue. Anyway, with the throat, let's go to the throat. Now, the throat is literally about speaking your truth. How honest and authentic are you being to yourself about yourself? Now, this is very simple. Sometimes, like, you ever lie, given your, oh, you ever, everybody has lied before. Think of a time where you have lied to an actual individual, but an individual that actually matters to you, an individual where you're like, I do not want to be caught because I'll probably disappoint them or something to that nature. And what you end up doing is that you end up even avoiding that person, or doing something out of the ordinary because you just, it feels yucky to lie to somebody. It feels, it's just that feeling. And that's what the throat is, right? Because you're going against something that's natural to you. And lying, believe it or not, is not natural to you, especially lying to yourself and lying to others, especially the people that you care about. And that's why it feels kind of like yucky, it throws you off. And that's your throat. It's all about like, are you speaking your truth? You know what I mean? Are you being authentic not only to yourself but to others? Like that's your throat. And when that's throwing off an alignment, that's what they're talking about in your throat. Now your heart area, this is a beautiful area. Your heart, that represents two colors. Normally it shows up in with either green or pink. When I see it in green, normally that refers to me, is referencing to me as like healing, meaning you're healing the heart, you're working on the heart, things that nature, you're fueling the heart. um Pink, on the other hand, is I automatically go into like love, being in love, falling in love, having your cup filled with like butterflies and things of that nature. That's like the pink color. I don't really see auras. However, pink is one aura color that I've seen on an individual more than once in my lifetime, probably like a good 3 times. So I know when I see that color. And I always find that interesting. And oh, anyway, let's go to the heart. So the heart chakra. Now the heart chakra, this is all about uh your heart space, how you feel about things, you know, how, what makes you receive, what makes you love, right? What do you allow in and what you don't allow in? Like this is your very precious, sensitive area. And this is also the easiest place where you could actually feel energy. So if you are not sensitive to energy and you want to actually feel energy, your heart space is the best place to actually feel it. Because if you've ever fell in love or felt love, like your heart literally like expands, you even feel lighter. It's just like, oh my gosh, it's like you can't even think, right? Because you're all in your heart space, and it's different. But when that love dissipates or it collapses or something happens, what your heart breaks. And when you get into a heartbreak, you literally, your chest collapses and you feel small, you don't feel well. Like this is the, that's why they call it a heartache or heartbreak. So this is the easiest space to actually feel energy, is in your heart space. Now, the other thing that I want to mention about the heart space is talking about, it's a little bit off the topic, but I want to mention it when people talking about cord cutting, things that nature. Cord cutting is real, and it's really it is, I feel it is necessary, especially when it comes to alleviating yourself from stuff that you don't even be carrying. But anyway, the heart space is the only space where somebody cannot connect like a cord to you, meaning they could harm you any other place but not your heart space. This space is so like, it's so godly, it's so connected to God and God's energy, and nothing can harm God's energy, God's light, God's source. That's all that heart space, that heart space is really, really protected, meaning like, you know, somebody could, you know, yeah, they could maybe break your heart, meaning like your heart aches, but they didn't really break your heart or touch your heart. They really broke the idea that you had with them. Maybe that, you built a future with your crown and your third eye, saying, hey, I'm building a future with this individual, and it just didn't work out for whatever reason. You gave life to that, and because you gave life to that vision, now you're heartbroken because you put so much energy and so much love into a dream that didn't happen, so which gives you that heartache. But it's just the vision that was broken and that dream that was broken. It's not necessarily your heart. So this is one space that you could feel really protective about. When it comes to cutting cords, you could cut cords in all of your chakras, because people do try to attach to your solar plex and take away your personal power from you, but they can never harm your heart. So anyway, that's just some little information there. Okay, let's go to your solar plex. Now, your solar plex, this is your powerhouse. This is your willpower. This is like how, oh wait, back to your heart. I didn't say what it was. Real quick, how worthy you are of love. Just always remember that. This is your love space. This is where your hope. You know what I mean? You're worthy of love. And when you feel that, that gives you that spark of hope, that spark of joy. And it's always that thing that lights you forward. All right, that's with your heart space. Now let's go to your solar plex. Now your solar plex, this is like your willpower. This is just your powerhouse. This is, how confident are you in your own shoes, in your own feet, with yourself, right? So let's say you get this like magical idea, right, that comes to you. You're just like, oh my gosh, I don't know why, but I know that I need to go to school because I need to become a doctor. And you could foresee it with your third eye. You're like, yes, yes, yes. If that sounds amazing, and you start speaking and telling people, I'm going to become a doctor, I'm going to start applying, your heart starts to get excited. And then you here start feeling even confident about it, like, yes, I'm going to do it. Like, that's your solar plex. Like, it gives you that confidence so that you could take that next step forward, because your sacral here is about like then back to your solar plex. Okay, your solar plex. I didn't talk about the colors. That's normally yellow. I love using yellow stones. Yellow jasper and yellow tiger eye is one of my favorite stones to use for the solar plex if I'm working on my solar plex, FYI. Now let's go to your sacral. Your sacral usually represents an orange color, and the stones that I like to use for this is like carnelian, any orange stone. I can't think of an orange stone at this moment, but I mean, jaspers are good stones too. Um, an orange jasper or even a red jasper would be really good for your sacral. Red jasper only because it's really good for your sex organs, if you want, for your sex life and give that extra spark and that extra run. Red jasper is really good for that. Anyway, your sexual organs, this is where you create life, all life. It doesn't matter if you're creating a baby or you're creating a business, but the point is that you're creative, right? That's why they say that's your creative spot. You're like, oh, you're sacred, your creativity, because you're in that state of creating. It doesn't matter whether you're creating, like I said, life. You're creating life is going to take you 9 months of preparation. You're creating a business, that's going to take who knows how long of preparation and executing and who knows what else. But the thing is that you're preparing, and that's the sacral. Now the root is like when you actually now the root, let's talk about the root. Now the root, it represents a red color. Now any red stone or dark stone, whether it's black, smoky quartz is my favorite grounding stone. The root's all about grounding, staying grounded. A lot of people are like, what does that even mean? When I say stay grounded, I mean like that means that you know how to like balance your energy out, meaning you're not sending your energy out to the heavens or out to other individuals or out to other events or out to other situations. It's like, no, you call your energy all to yourself, and you're not sharing that energy, meaning you are grounded to tethered to this earth, and you're more steady and stable in all ways, whether that's in thought, whether that's with your emotions and your actions. Like, you're rooted, you're grounded. That's what that means there. So Okay, now what does the root mean? Now the root chakra, that's all about like your survival. You know, how are you, how your fight and flight, you know what I mean? Do you have a home? Do you have a job? Do you have like safety, security, things of that nature? Like how grounded are you to this earth, and are you safe in that space? That's your root. And that's where people talk about like imbalances and things, you know, to work on. But to its um simplest nature, I just wanted to kind of give a brief explanation as into what is it. Next time I could talk about like how to work with them, what you could do, you know, how you could use, how to balance out your chakras and how to work with them. You could balance out your chakras with meditation, energy work, or actual physical work, depending on what it is that you're trying to do, or using colors. It just depends. And what else was I gonna say? And it's also a good way to either A, build up your intuition, or B, to manifest, depending on the direction you're going. Because remember, I told you the chakra system is a map, and it could tell you how to get there. Meaning, if you're working on your intuition, you want to work on your crown and your third eye. So you would work on this area. But if you're trying to, you know, manifest, I would say work down, work with your root. Um, but as always, I would say use, if you're working on manifesting, I would say start with your crown and work your way down. If you're working on intuition, on your intuition, I would say start with your root and work your way up. Always start with your root, especially if you're trying to work on your intuition. That is my advice to you. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed my crazy drawing, my crazy rants, and my explanation on the chakra system. You have an amazing day. Bye.